All right, welcome back, everybody. This is going to be a little bit of a different, at least start to the episode. We are, in fact, working on, I guess this is episode 15 of our leveling series, but the first thing I wanted to do was take a look at the patch notes here from January the 17th, at least here in Eastern Time, the morning of January 17th. There's been an update to Russian Fishing 4 having to do with the New Year's challenges. So I thought we could take a look at these patch notes and see if we can figure out the implications of the patch notes just briefly. And then we'll just roll right into this episode of the leveling series. If you're not interested in the leveling series and you're just here for the patch notes, then it should be pretty obvious when I'm transitioning. But okay, let me do this so that we can see it without quite as much being in the way here. So here's the patch notes. Hello anglers, the holidays are over, but winter magic is still in the air. After receiving your feedback and analyzing the data on the New Year event, we came to the conclusion that some challenges were too difficult. Because of this, we made some of them a bit easier, extended the runtime for the event by 15 days for players who entered the game between December 20th and January 8th. We learned a lot in the process and will tweak future events accordingly. Congratulations to those who have already completed all stages to the end despite the difficulty. You've got to love, by the way, this sort of relationship between developers and community. I mean, it's encouraging to me, even as I read it, that feedback is that important and being taken into account, and that even in the midst of this event, before the event's even over, they're making adjustments. So reduce the difficulty of completing some New Year's challenges. Maximum time has been increased by 15 days. Implemented a screen for viewing an individual award. And then there's some other localization and some fixes. The old Berg map was missing some ambient sounds. That's interesting. Will we be able to pick up those? The model of the three-tooth lamprey was not displayed. Wow. And here's like the most incredible part. I hadn't noticed this. All players who entered the game during this period of technical difficulty on December 20th to January 3rd will receive a token of 7 days premium as a thank you for the patience. Wow. Can be activated anytime. Okay, so there's the patch notes. So the question is, can we... All right, first of all, do we have the... Okay, I don't have the premium, and we certainly logged in during the right time. So maybe it has not been added. It says it will be added. I guess I can check on my main account while we're looking at this and try to check that out. Okay, let's go back to standard fare here. Okay, so let's go to the fair. So the cool thing about this leveling account is we haven't done many of the challenges. So there's just a few of the free, and we haven't even started the premium. And so let's see what, if anything, we can tell in terms of changes that might be relevant. Okay, so catch a chub weighing 1.5 kilos. I guess I'm just going to go through the ones that I haven't completed yet. Let's see. I don't see anything different in stage 1. I don't see anything different in stage 2. You know, I do not have the best memory for this kind of exercise. So I'm actually not 100% sure on this. I should have thought about this, and we should have found something where I could have pulled up the old. Some of you will know in chat. I guess the bottom line is some of this has been changed. Is that a smaller perch? 800 grams? I feel like that might be a smaller perch. A bream weighing 2 kilo, that feels about what it was. The white eye 350. I mean, I guess we could look and see what our largest white eye is. It's not going to definitively tell us the answer. Yeah, so it was 449. I don't know though. 350 sounds like what it was before. A white bream 500, that's the same. Catch an eyed 1.5 on winding. I don't remember if the size could have changed there. A pike, that looks about the same. Oh, that's much easier. So maybe they just looked at the ones that people were having the hardest time. I think the blue bream might have even been 500 grams. Have we really not caught even a small blue bream? I think we just haven't gone for it on this account much, like targeting the blue bream. Wait, 119? So it's not retroactive. You still have to do it moving forward, so that's interesting. Nace 400 using float, okay. Now, I wonder if any of this has been changed. I mean, I don't know that I'm going to remember this. You know, I apologize. I really should have. Oh, wait, actually, I have the answer here, folks. We can do this really quickly, actually. New Year's challenges. All right. Same. Let's just see. Did I have any questions about anything in particular? Stage 3. 2 kilo. Yeah, so that's gone down a half a kilo. Used to be 2.5, now it's 2. Stage 4. Yeah, the perch is lighter. The bream is the same. White bream is the same. The wide eye bream is the same. That's interesting. A lot of people having problems on wide eye, and that one didn't change at all. The eyed is the same. So pike is smaller. The pike used to be 3 kilos. And like I said, the blue bream, actually the blue bream used to be 300 grams, not 500. I was getting it confused with the white bream. The nace is the same, which that's also interesting. I feel like plenty of people are having a hard time with the nace, but no changes there. And then, let's see. 500 is the same. Okay, so the Xander's gotten lighter. It's all the same so far, except for that one. Grayling is the same. Catfish. Pellet is the same. Brown trout's the same. Burbot's the same. Vindus is the same. It's gonna be the rainbow trout, right? Yeah, rainbow trout and lake trout only have to be 2 kilo. Taimen is half the size. Instead of 5 kilos, 2.5. And black carp is the same. Interesting. Yeah, black carp wasn't that hard, I guess. Okay, so there you have it. There's the changes. Not a lot of changes, but some strategic changes to a few things, and then just the massive addition of how much time we have to complete it. Now, I am curious when they will transition the 7 days of premium. I didn't read that wrong about who's eligible. Oh, you had to, okay, so I did read this incorrectly. I apologize. So you had to enter the game on December 20th from this time to this time, or on January 3rd from this time to this time. So not in between those two times, actually on those specific dates. And that's my fault for misunderstanding that. So like this account will not get it. My main account could, just depending on if I happen to log in during those days where they were having the technical difficulties. I remember hearing about that. I don't remember how much that actually affected me. Okay, so that brings us to a good stopping point on the patch notes. Again, I'm overall very impressed that there's listening to feedback. I think they did a good job of strategically saying, here are a few things that needs to be slightly easier without just making everything really easy. They left a lot of them the same, but they must have gotten feedback on specific ones that people had just spent hours and hours trying to get, like that certain size blue bream. And they said, okay, that's a little too much. We don't want just one or two of these challenges taking forever. So anyway, I think that's interesting. All right. Hey, as always, thanks for watching. I'm going to continue on now with this leveling guide. If you're here for the leveling series, not guide series, then feel free to stay. We're going to figure out what we're going to do next. But as always, thanks for hanging out. If you're taking off, those are my quick and my very, very brief first reactions to these patch notes. Okay, folks, so let's look here. We're in an interesting place because we just had this update. That means that we really have very little information on what is what. Let me look at our gear. So how strong is this? This goes up to 5.5. So we could put 4.8 back on there. We could put, I kind of want to get, I've got an idea. I'm trying to get the right, oh, that's a cart book. We don't have to worry about that. Six might be right. I actually think 10 might be even better. And we don't really have a 10. Let's see if we can get a 10. An inexpensive size 10 hook. This is what I'm thinking. I think we go see if we can find a chub. This would be the cheapest if they have it. Yeah, so let's just get one very cheap hook. And let's make sure, does that allow for us to use grasshopper? It does, though grasshopper may not even be the best one to try. All right, so catch a chub, 50 centimeter, and they recommend 72.85 as one possibility. Now this recommendation comes from like weeks ago at this point, so it may not even be accurate anymore. Let me see if I can find, let's see, how do I get to, all right, I've just pulled up this app. As far as I know, you do not have access to this app anymore. It was something you could purchase a long time ago from somebody on Discord that I think actually worked on the game. So they had these assets and made this app. So that question always comes up whenever I pull this up. I apologize. I don't think you can still get it as far as I know. And the app is no longer even connected to the server. So it doesn't even work the way it was supposed to initially. It's just fun for me. It's an easy way for me to see like spots real quick. So 72.85 is actually where we spawn. I should have remembered that, but I just didn't. So let's just see, what is it, 12.45. Let's just see if we're getting any chub activity, and we'll just kind of walk it down this main area if we can. Just see if it's even possible here at the moment. So making these challenges a little easier has renewed my interest in, on this account, possibly trying to tackle a few of them. Just for fun while it lasts, we'll see. I'm not saying we'll necessarily want to do this every time. We probably won't, but at least sometimes. So it has to be on float, okay. We could also, if we don't catch one here on Grasshopper, we could look at that website and see if we can tell, are there other things that they're biting on even better at the moment. Grasshopper is just usually like the most reliable bait on these early maps, or specifically on winding, I guess I should say, where you're not going to catch a whole lot else, but the chubs seem to like them. So, I mean, I don't know that it always works, but that's why a lot of times if you're going for chub, Grasshopper will be the recommendation because it sort of avoids everything else. I don't want to spend too much time on this particular, because I remember on my main account, I actually got this done while going for something else. So this isn't a hard one, just for whatever reason, I haven't gotten it yet. We haven't gotten it on this one. But it could just randomly happen while we're doing something else. I mean, we're very aggressively targeting it at the moment with this size hook and the Grasshopper, but it may just come in otherwise. All right, really quick, what's the next thing that we could work on? Oh, the bream or something weighing 2 kilo at Mosquito, which, isn't there a bream as well? Yeah. So we should try to just get a 2 kilo bream, and that ends up being both of them, right? So we did have a little nibble there. Could have been a chub. What's the other thing it could be here on Grasshopper? Maybe roach. Roach will just eat almost anything, so that would be my guess. I hate to start trying to go for bream too much when we don't have cottage cheese dough unlocked yet, though. Is there something else we could go for here? Oh, the white bream, that's morning. An eyed. Let's see, what was the original recommendation on catching that eyed? Interesting. 108, 102, 1 meter on redworm. Is that still a thing? Oh, that's way over there. That's where you're supposed to catch an eyed? Okay, and does that require float? I assume it does, but let's double check. Where's the eyed? Oh, it doesn't. Doesn't require float at all. All right, so what have I been coming in on? All right, what do we catch here? Roach. Oh, that's insect bait. All right, we want to go to winding and find the eyed. All right, redworm does look like the recommendation. Redworm, castor, bark beetle larva for the eyed. Interesting. Wonder if that spot's still working at all. What did I say it was? 108, 102? That is basically, I think right here, around G5. And we could put, let's see. We could put, I feel like this is going to be the episode where we like don't catch any fish. Well, we've caught a roach, but you know what I mean. We could put feeders in as well. Maybe one redworm, one caster, but on a bigger hook to see if we can force the eye. I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird thing. What did we say? 108, 102 or something like that? Yeah, so basically right here. And we were going to do, again, I think 10 hook is probably about right. 1 meter depth. All right, and then we want to put these in too, but we want to go with no ground bait and pretty big hooks. I don't know that you can do caster. Okay, you can do caster. Okay, cool. I don't know. We'll just do like a 10 clip here. And then all right. We'll see. We shall see. Do we get any nibbles at all? I threw it way too far out there. You almost want it to like drag on the ground or something. I think that would actually be pretty good. Just let it slowly go as it's dragging on the ground. All right, we're getting a nibble on one of these. I don't know which, but let's don't cast it quite as far out there. So if we look at, if I'm trying to pull up VK for today, I just, you know, it's hard to tell what is actually since the update. I'm not sure that the update actually reset the fish. I mean, it looks like Cottage Cheese Dough is still working on bream. If this post was from the update, and it looks like it was, but it's interesting. All right, still nothing here. So we've got this really deep area right in front of us that we're fishing out of. Deep for winding, at least. Come on. Okay. Now, we have got to hit just the right size. I don't know. I really don't know. I guess we might be able to get a 1.5 kilo out on this. This is where embracing these challenges, we kind of need to switch to a heavier telescopic rod. Need to save up for just one heavier rod. Or the other option you have if you are far enough along is go for this bag here. But you gotta be able to go to Corey, which we can't get to Corey yet because that bag has a stronger telescopic rod in it. And we almost can't get, it would just be nice to be able to let it float a little farther past us before we have to pull it back. But that's what we got. So we pretty much just want to stay at this point, cast back that way, let it float right down here in front of us, and see if we can't find an eye. But it looks like we could catch this on feeder as well, right? So maybe we move the rods right down here into the deeper part, or spread the feeder rods out a little bit. And sometimes I'd actually really like carp boilies too. There's lots of options here. We need a 6-meter telescopic rod that's a little stronger than this one. There's one thing I'm feeling. All right. Let's see what this is. This is on redworm. In this spot. I mean, this feels heavy, so just don't pop off of our cheap stuff here. Okay, turned his head. Come on. Come on in. Just turn towards us, baby. He's got some strength to him. Now he's using the current as well. Yikes. We've almost got him at the top. Yep, there we go. All right, this is just a really big chub. Oof. That is a big chub, and that is on redworm. I like it, but that's not exactly what we want. I'm going to spread this one out to down here, and we'll leave the caster kind of where it's at for the most part. Because, yeah, where we've seen the eye was a little further down. So, that begs the question, why aren't we also trying to get the chub here on float? It's got to be smaller than that, though, or we're going to be hurting. All right. Yeah, let's just try let's just try one cast. Same thing, but we're going to go a little more shallow and just see if we can't hit a chub here. We'll switch back and forth. Chub and eyed. All right, which one's getting a nibble? It's just a nibble so far, it looks like. All right, that's the caster. Oh, I need to check the friction brake. That's a bream. Okay. All right. Do we try this one more time? I mean, both these fish are also active in the evening. Let's try this one more time. And then I'll switch back to redworm. Didn't go quite as far as I wanted, but we're working with limited reach here. And it is a deeper spot. Maybe we should leave it in the deeper range even for the chub. I mean, I went back to 50 centimeter because that was the recommendation in another spot, but that might have had to do with the depth of the other spot, not with the species of fish in terms of what depth we want to be fishing for the chub. But I'm going to go back to redworm here and back to a meter. I really do want to kind of switch back and forth between the two baits. Let's get a little further out there too. Come on. This is the time of day that we are hoping we'll hit it. Both the eyed and the chub, I'd say. We do still have a 10 hook, right? Yeah. Again, we need to be able to do a little bit more reach, but it is what it is. I guess I'm going to price out a little stronger and longer telescopic rod, just to see if that's something we want to do. All right, so this is kind of nice, actually. This is when things, work together to create something that's a little bit nice for you. The wind is blowing against the current, against the direction that our float is floating. So we're still getting drifting with the current, but it's drifting a lot slower, which gives us more time for it to sit and hopefully attract that fish. By the way, this is also, if you really wanted to attempt bolo fishing, any of these achievements that require float fishing but don't require the telescopic rod, you could technically do on a bolo rod, which would be fun, because then you've got the extra strength of the reel. You're not as dependent on just being able to, pull it out with the stick on one go. You can wear the fish out a little bit. So surprised we did not get a chub nibble there, to be honest with you. It just seemed like the right time that it would work, but... All right, so we're going back to eyed attempt with the red worm. All right, we do have a fish on one of them. Might actually be this one. Yeah, that's not the right fish. Okay. Oh, goodness. Oh, that could have been the one. It's like so cold in my house, and I just had to like warm up my hands real quick, and I was away from the... that was a rough one to miss there. That bite felt like the one. I wonder how often you see a chub come in on... Let's look at this. On red worm. Yeah, plenty. I figured. So that's another reason why, like, we've got the right hook size on, chub-eyed, you know, hopefully we're going to see one of them using this bait. I don't like that it's actually, like, legit nighttime now. I don't think that helps our cause, but... All right, we'll try it one more time, and then I'm gonna think about something we could do during the night, even if it's just go catch some crucian gibbles while I look at some prices on telescopic rods. I am curious about that bream spot here. I wonder if anything would work other than the cottage cheese dough. So frustrating. So it's really always happening down here, these recent bites. And I might just be pulling it too quick, I don't know. Maybe we do need a bolo rod. The problem is some of these are telescopic, not like specific, not just general float. So getting a cheap bowler rod would help us on some of these, but not all of them. If that makes sense. You know, I don't know how active it is right now, but fishing around these branches down here, this is definitely a spot where chub used to be targeted. getting pretty late now. Okay, let's regroup here. (102, 112). 10-meter clip. Do we want to test it out? What would we use though? We could try garlic dough, 102, 112, and maybe just worm. It's going to be right here, isn't it? Yeah. All right, so clip 10. What size hook do we have on? That's a pretty big one. Let's go 14 garlic dough. I mean, that'll just show us if we're going to get the bream at all. And then let's go 6 worm. Oh, we could put just like some kind of, you know, blank ground bait basically. Just to trick those bream into thinking they want to come hang out. What do you think the depth is here? We're not getting out that far. So 1 meter depth is probably about what we want. Let's see if that drags a little bit. It does. Yeah. What if we go right here a little farther out? Whew, it's gonna be hard to fish like this though. And that's not dragging at all. So that probably just got over onto a little ledge or something. All right, that was a little something. The way it was, that looked like a bream. Yeah, this is a bream, right? Just a small bream of some sort. Oh, it's a white bream, actually. Okay, that's interesting. Which one is this on? Garlic dough. It's a surprise a little bit. I think that was a nibble it was getting. It's getting a nibble again, isn't it? So weird the way the presentation is on that. I think it is, but I could be wrong. Could be the wind or something. Okay. Well, the nice thing is next time we are ready to dig into an episode, we will probably have a few more helpful pieces of data from VK and some of these other sites that give us resources to go on, because with the reset and the changes and everything, I think there will be some renewed interest in trying to figure some stuff out. So we'll see in the coming hours or coming couple of days what that looks like. Let's make sure that it's so weird. Like, why is cottage cheese dough like just the bait of the month? Even now I'm seeing people are catching Crucian gibbles on cottage cheese dough. Let's make sure some of these boilies that are so good at mosquito are also out of stock here. I think I did confirm that. Hey, we made 15 silver last time, but let's just make sure. We probably should not let ourselves get too distracted from the fact that it is still a good goal to get to cottage cheese dough. All right, so caramel, which we have the other caramel, but it's 14 out of stock here. It is, of course it is. And then the other one was like creme brulee, I think, out of stock. I think we double checked this last time. And then some people are using the white chocolate dip, which that is in stock, although I don't know that that dip is going to matter that much. So, okay. I really liked this, by the way. Instead of going out to, what is it, 53.87, I saw someone doing 52.87, which just seems like, you know, a nice idea here. And so you do like clip 8 just a little farther, but you're basically casting right into the same location here. So what have we been using? Semolina's been working really good, right? Although that hook size is a little big for crucial, even going for trophies. I don't know that we should have these. I mean, I think 10 is probably, when we're using natural baits especially, 10 is probably what we want to go with. Which we do have that 10 now, don't we? From the float fishing we were doing. And we could get another one for next to nothing. I just think that's the better size. All right, first one of the night. It's pretty good. Right at 1 kilo, I love it. Also pretty good. This is just a little easier fishing from this angle because the boat's not in the way. frankly just kind of wish I would have thought of this sooner. But I saw somebody on VK that was basically fishing from this angle, and it's just like, oh, yes, don't worry about the boat as much. Okay, so nothing here in terms of float rods. Let's see. That just, it's not good length for what we're going for. It's too expensive for what we're going for. Or the middle one's too expensive. The bolo rod, is it a cheap one? No, way too expensive. Okay. So nothing in that for us. Let's see. Wait, are there any kits that are relevant? No. What about this one? Yeah, 6 meter length, a little bit higher load capacity. I think I've looked at this before, but 149. How much is the walrus stick otherwise? I don't remember which one it was. 159. Yeah. So that kit might be the answer, actually. I think that walrus stick might just put us in a spot where it's the right length. It's a little bit stronger. I just think that might be the answer. I guess we're nowhere near getting a leader, huh? 40%? I shouldn't say we're nowhere near, but we don't float fish as much at this point as we did in the beginning. Yeah, so maybe that is, we really don't need that much silver to be able to afford it. Boy, those are some rough cafe orders. I mean, I guess rough in the sense that I'm like focused on Crucian Gibble at the moment, but unusual to have none. How much was that chub worth? That one big chub we caught. 12.9 silver. That's awesome. That was weird. That was a weird sized fish at this time of morning. Okay. Yeah, and I guess eventually we'll have to figure out if the bream spot here is still active, if we're gonna try to go for that, but maybe not until after we've unlocked cottage cheese dough. I don't know. We're on a good quick pace towards cottage cheese dough, so that will help us be able to target some of these things a little easier. I think I'm going to switch this one to garlic dough, actually, just for fun. So now we've got semolina and garlic dough on. This middle rod, by the way, suddenly catching very small fish. This is the semolina. Sounds like garlic dough is getting a nibble, thankfully, but stage 2-2, huh? Seeing where this, I have this other suggestion thing on. So that was 108, 102. Large one hook on grasshopper. Looks like they used like a bolo rod for it, or actually match rod. That makes sense. It's a nice crucian. I'm not really familiar with, I mean, I'm pretty confident if we get a longer telescopic rod that there's not a lot we couldn't do. Although the size of some of the fish, yes, it just gets a lot easier with bolo. But what's the cheapest bolo and how bad is it? I mean, 3.8, just kind of max it out. It's, you know, 58, 64 silver or something like that. I don't think I'd want to waste this much silver on it. I just do it with a telescopic. But for this, that's tempting. Just go right at the max, 3.8. Try to, you know, try not to break it. Take a little risk, but try not to break it. I mean, that could be fun. We could try both, you know, we could have the bolo rod and the float rod in at the same time. It's not a bad, like, it probably ups our chances of catching a few more fish. So, I don't know. Might try it. We'll see. So, for what it's worth, garlic dough has been, so far, seems like a little slower than the, probably will switch it back. Have we even had a fish on garlic dough? I don't think so, no. So we should just keep it on semolina, I guess. All right, we'll go a little bit farther here, just trying to catch a few fish to earn a couple more silver so that this, probably won't spend the silver this episode. We'll wait till next time because we just need to make a final decision on, do we want to go, I'm going to try pearl barley. Do we want to go with the, that float kit? To open up those options, 39.4, or do we want to go with trying to get cottage cheese dough first? And we still have some. I feel like the equipment is holding us back a little bit right now if we want to try to progress on these challenges, but I don't know. All right, pearl barley's catching something. We'll see if it's a roach or a crucian gibble. Size-wise, it feels like a crucian gibble. Yeah. Okay. Good job, pearl barley. I always like it when pearl barley is actively good because of how early in the process of making baits is that it's available. So it's just nice when that's the case. picked up the wrong one. Did that get under the boat? I think we're good. Just over a kilo. Well, our boilie experiment, though it did do well at times, right now at least, it feels like it's actually hurting us. We would rather have the active bite rate of non-trophies probably than how slow, that was cool, like seeing that line just slink up like that, how slow the activity is on the boilies at the moment. Is that a kilo gibble? Yeah, very nice. Okay, we'll go ahead and start moving towards wrapping this up. Let's double check cafes. I tell you what, let's do. I have a little bit of time left. I know we were going a little long, but I have a few minutes. Let's transition to roach, or what we think might target roach. I know we've tried this before. Let's just see how good it is today. All right, so we want to go to roach ground bait. I really want that 6, I think. Let's do bark beetle larva on this one. We'll do a 9 clip. I think we were doing a 8 before, if I remember correctly, but I feel like I always sort of move it around some, so let's just do a little shorter. And then this we will put on, this has the 6, so we'll put on the mayfly larva on this one. 9 clip, right off the dock. And then I'm not tempted to let this catch one more fish, but that's probably silly. I actually think I want to try caddisfly larva on the 3rd one. All right, it's doing what it's supposed to do. It's catching roach. So we're gonna go with this. All right, I don't think we can do, oh, I'm wrong. We can do caddisfly with 4. All right, we'll try it. It's big though, it's a big size. That's fine, we'll try it. I was thinking more like 10 on the caddisfly larva, but let's start off like this and see how it goes. Get some free food. So we have 83. We're trying to get a couple extra silver from that roach cafe order, and also just kind of test the overall roach bite on some different baits. So that's 46 more. That's good. That's getting us close to that price of that kit, in case that's what we decide to do next episode or sometime soon. All right, we'll give this a couple minutes, So other baits we could try. Anything. These are roach, so anything. But maggot, castor, bloodworm, these three for sure. Roach will go for, you know, porridge and dough and natural baits some as well. Worm and red worm possibly. So one thing that we don't have that sometimes does a really good job of catching big roach, and I don't often hear other people talking about it, so I think it's like undervalued as a roach bait. It's a cheap bait, and if you're just trying to like catch roach, the most undervalued roach bait might be pea. It's very cheap, and I feel like it does pretty good with roach. Now the other one would be pearl barley. Now that's talked about a lot. That's not undervalued, and we're not testing pearl barley right now because we're using some of these insect type baits that we know will just oftentimes really do well on roach. So that's 2 in a row on bark beetle larva. It looks like caddisfly is getting... Let's just make sure we don't have a fish there. We don't, okay. So caddisfly looks like has caught a really nice roach. Oh, it's a chub even. All right, so let's go 14 hook and pearl barley. The slow one is mayfly larva. Now, like what we heard the other day, this might be the one if you're just trying to trophy a roach. Mayfly larva might be a good one to kind of just sit on, trying to hit that trophy. But that doesn't mean it's a great bite rate. All right, so roach, roach, roach. But those are all pretty big ones. This small cafe order, we really just need non-marker size, 5 for 12 silver. Common roach, 3 silver. That was an extra one from Winding, I think. Bark beetle larva doing really well, bite rate wise. Pearl barley, a little disappointing that we don't already have a roach on. When it's popping off, it's popping off. All right, and this did finally catch a nice roach, but it's an expensive bait, so I probably don't want to keep using it. Man, sometimes bloodworm or maggot might just be, or worm even, the way to go. Did we go smaller hook here? Yeah. So the last thing would be to go a little smaller hook on this one, possibly, but 10's been okay, I think. So pearl barley, let's see what it does and how it does. I mean, you know, we'd have to just test some spots, but I think I've said this before in this series. A really good roach spot, which that may sound like an oxymoron, but a really good roach spot, you usually will have a little better bite rate than this. So it's not that this isn't working, it is working, but it doesn't feel like what a roach spot can feel like. It hasn't been the case during these past few weeks, I guess, but there really are times when you can catch almost every fish in the lake right here off of this dock. Put bloodworm on, so now we can start catching a few more other species, I guess. Perch. Any of the worms will catch perch. You do have to watch it. You'll end up with sometimes smaller roach, especially, could be on the line and you might not ever notice till the bait's gone. Smaller hook size, a little more universal bait. Now we're catching pretty fast bite rate over here. Still decent size, whatever it is. Roach. I think we can officially say that the pearl barley is just not working well at the moment here. Just very sad, but it seems to be the case. All right, so this is first fish on maggot. Or maybe second, I'm not exactly sure. There's a roach. Is there something else we'd rather try, like castor? We've got worms on there. Maybe 2 worms and 1 bloodworm, or 1 castor, castor or maggot might be the way to go. Something's on one of them. It's probably this one. Yeah, this is gonna be a roach. You watch. Small roach just sitting there on bloodworm, trying to steal the bait. Ooh, interesting. Oh, the other question is, do we have it on paternoster or basic bottom? So that's paternoster, paternoster. Okay, that is all 3 paternoster. All right, maggot. Pretty quick turnaround on maggot that time. It is another decent roach. We're doing pretty good on these, like almost 500 gram roach at the moment. Again, this is slowest time of the day for fishing. Your crucian gibbles are going to be really small. So sometimes it's worth just switching over, catching a few perch and roach, instead of just sitting on a small crucian gibble spot, fishing the place out when you're not even catching the good sizes. Let that spot rest, come catch some other stuff somewhere else during the middle of the day. Yeah, I'm impressed with bloodworm. I mean, I expected worm to do really well, but bloodworm's been fantastic. We found a crucian in this spot. That's cool. I was wondering, like, usually crucian and gibbles come out here just like the roach do, but all right. I'm gonna have to wrap it up. Yeah, so that's not bad. We're getting 12 silver. How much time's left? It's getting low. That other roach order's gone, but that's okay. Yeah, let's just check, see if we have anything on, then we'll turn in that one. Crucian. Okay. So let's see where we ended up. Just under the amount, probably, but we're getting there. This 12 silver helps a ton. So we're at 95. I like those rough orders. Oh, we're there. So we have the option. Next episode, if we want to, we have the option of getting the walrus stick kit. So that could be interesting. All right. Hey, as always, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Tight lines, everybody.